Because we're the three best friends that anyone did have. Yes, we're the three best. How about that ride in? Vegas. Trying to be Alan here. Trying to be Alan.
Yikes, that was
You guys
bad.
seen that movie, Hangover?
We know Steve hasn't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Steve hasn't seen any movie. Like, what is a popular movie that you have seen, Steve?
Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh. Well,
so you got one up on me.
How the turntables have turned.
Mm-hmm.
How the
turntables. You know what really grinds my gears? Oh, boy. Welcome to That Helps No One FantasyCast on Crier Media. THNO, Thano. For the people in the know, we can follow you. We can chat with you on the YouTube chat, on the Twitch chat, the Twitter or the X.
Oh, I hate how it's called X.
Yeah.
It literally gets me every time when people refer to it as X. I'm like, X what?
Des Bryant loves it, though. Des Bryant's a big fan of the whole X thing. So
I actually refuse to update my apps.
Oh, so you should sell your phone. Apparently, that's worth a lot of money if you get the old version.
No way.
I will, instead of like when I update my apps now, instead of just hitting the update all, I manually go through and update each one, except for Twitter.
So
I missed how petty you are. This is great.
So you probably still have Spaces or whatever that was, or what was it called? Not Spaces. What was the other thing they had?
The
Fleets?
Instagram one?
You still got Fleets on there?
Oh, I don't know. No, I think I deleted that. I don't know.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a real shame.
What's the new one called? Our buddy Kyle in our league.
Blue Sky or something?
Join. Yeah, Blue Ski or Blue Sky. I don't know.
Blue Sky. I don't think it's called Blue Ski. That would be pretty lame. I think.
Like Blue Ski Brewski? Yeah, tell me that's
Teddy Brewski. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, That Helps No One FantasyCast. We're going to talk to you about fantasy football because we know about fantasy football. Some of us more than others. Some of us a lot less than others. I'm like, I don't even know what I am. So I'm 0-2 in our whistleblowing league. Yeah, it's awesome. Somehow I lose to Kyle by literally 5 yards. 5.6 yards. Michael Thomas, thanks so much, buddy. I needed you to get hit for a loss, and you ended up getting. Didn't he get not ejected, but I think he was in an altercation at the end of the game or something.
And yeah, after the game ended, him and Derek Brown, I think, were getting into it in the tunnel.
That should cost 5 yards for sure. It should. So in Ted's work league, I'm 2-0.
Ryan,
yeah,
that's not how stats work.
It should be how stats work.
The first 198-yard touchdown.
Fellow Nike athlete, DK Metcalf. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm speaking of that, I'm confused when he switched to Nike. He was Under Armour forever, and I cannot pinpoint when he switched.
Have you seen that man? He's a Nike athlete.
I don't know if it was this season or last season or when it was, but he was Under Armour for the longest time.
Money talks. He likes the Over Armour with Nike. So,
and my boy Tyler Lockett is an Adidas guy.
Hey, you know what? 3 stripes, baby.
Because he's a virgin, so all day I dream about sex.
I think the people that aren't a virgin still dream about it too. Those are the married folks. Puka.
Married folks, virgins, shaking hands.
That's pretty much. Wow. All right. It took 3.5 minutes.
We can just call this show already.
Let's just clip it. If you guys want to talk about football, that's great. We can call the show right now. Puka Nakwa. Did I say that right? Cousin Puka for the people in the not pronouncing names. Steve, you're a teacher, but you're not an English teacher, so I'm just assuming we're doing it right. He's destroying the NFL right now. He's got 2 games, 10 plus catches, a piss ton of yards. Is he going to be the breakout star of the 2023-24 season? Chris? I'm going to ask Steve because he'll give me a better answer. Steve? You guys suck. I'm glad you don't have him on your teams. Cam Akers also making news. He is not playing right now. And somehow Kareem Hunt is still getting talked about more than Cam Akers. That's not a good situation. It's not at all. If you own Cam Akers still like I do, I'm holding out hope that he's going to go somewhere and he'll get to just run free. Sadly, Kareem Hunt is still getting the love over. I mean, geez, Colin Kaepernick probably has a better shot at getting a job before Cam Akers goes to somewhere that appreciates him. This is getting ridiculous. It really is.
Yeah.
Are we opening the show just talking about your fantasy football team right now? So let's talk about Puka Nacua and Cam Akers. Oh, by the way, guys, I have both those players.
Yeah. Well, if you got a better opening line, Chris, aside from virgins and married people, then
who froze? Someone froze.
Someone, maybe me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like it. But let's get into the real stuff. We don't even have to waste our time on that. Nick Chubb, done for the season. Not good. Don't like that. Don't like that for anybody because he's awesome, even though he plays for the Browns.
Oh, it's so reminiscent of that 2015 injury where it just everything blew up. Like you didn't even need to see the confirmation that it was dislocated, that if you even saw any of the clips where his knee gets mangled, you're like, knees just don't work like that. They don't work like that. Like, it's clearly dislocated. If he has any of the ligaments left, he is mega lucky. The cartilage in there has to be just mangled. I think it brings up that bigger conversation that started the year with running backs and shelf life, and they're not getting paid and they're holding out because it's, they get hurt probably the most of any position in football.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a guy, Chubb is probably 27 going on 28. Can't really remember, but that's going to be most likely like an 18 to 24 month injury. If it's as bad as what they say it is,
it might be career ender. If he's,
I know a lot of people are talking about how it could be a career ender. Like, at the very, very best, he's going to be playing into like almost his age 30 season, trying to get paid again. And like you feel so sick for the guy because, like you said, he by all accounts, and I'm not in the locker room, I don't actually know, so it is speculation at this point, but it's a guy that teammates value, that the media values. Like, he's got to be a pretty good dude. And then you've got Deshaun Watson, who walks out of the game unscathed. Like, where's the justice in it? And your heart just goes out to Nick Chubb. It's horrible.
Chris feels the same way. What do you think, Chris?
I saw one thing on Twitter have you guys noticed on Twitter now that when a guy gets hurt, like all these like Twitter doctors, like legit doctors pop up and like start speculating and on what it is. And a lot of them are fairly accurate. Like, I'm pretty sure one of those Twitter doctors called the Rodgers injury before the video even showed up, before anything. One of those Twitter doctors called it. Anyways, I saw one saying that there's concerns that an artery in the back of his knee could have burst.
What?
And if that is the case,
amputation.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Lower leg amputation. Yeah.
Oh man,
that's
awful.
Could you imagine?
I couldn't.
Like, you think you're just like injured and like you're worried about ever playing again. You're worried about like setting yourself and your family up financially, and then you're like, oh damn, I might not have a leg. Like,
I don't even think, like, most people just couldn't fathom that anyway.
No,
you just couldn't. Final thing, Russ looks to be trying to cook again in either league, whether it's standard or PPR. And I should point out, for the folks who don't, PPR does mean points per reception.
But it doesn't matter for quarterbacks.
Doesn't matter. I'm saying
unless the quarterback catches
a pass.
And I mean, that's happened so far this season. So it's possible. Is Russ still cooking, or is he cooked? Because that looks like this might end up being one of the worst big contracts in the history of the league. Like, Russ just, I don't know, something's up. It just doesn't look like he's got like his elusiveness, his, the thing that made him Russell Wilson.
Well, he's 35. Like, yeah, he's not going to be as elusive as he was 10 years ago when he was 25.
Has he been playing that long?
Longer. He's been in the league since 2012.
No kidding. That's
Dims are facts. Yeah.
Wow.
He won the Super Bowl 10 years ago.
So he's cooked.
Okay, he's cooked. So okay, that's fine. I think we're all good with that. I'm glad we saw that. There was a pretty. I think we are. There was a bit of a dud opener. I'm not gonna lie. We need Ted. Maybe he is the straw stir in the drink that we needed. Chris, as good as Chris is, maybe he needs one more person to feed off of to get the absolute juice going here.
Ted just likes to hear himself talk, so like he at least he'll just go and go and go until one of us interrupts him.
That's true. Yeah. That's fair. So it's like I don't know what to do with my hands right now. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Steve, what do you think? Do you think Russ is cooked?
Well, since we're being like mega selfish here and we're we're always talking about our own fantasy teams. I would like it if Russ could start passing to Cortland Sutton. I have Jerry Jeudy in another league, so I'm going to go on the selfish train and say no, he's not cooked. I think one thing you have to just temper expectations. Yes, he's 35, but here's a guy who went from being in Pete Carroll's system for 10 years of his career to then being in a Nathaniel Hackett abomination, and now he's in another system. Like, it's 2 games into his system under Sean Payton. I think we can give Sean Payton, a little bit of credit in terms of like his system works for quarterbacks, even like late Drew Brees years when his arm wasn't a Kaepernick type rocket. He can still succeed. So I would temper it for 5, 6, 7 games. See what happens after that. If he's still not really cooking like Russ used to, then yeah, I mean, maybe it's over.
I don't know. You see guys like Aaron Rodgers going deep into their career before, obviously, and he's still making it happen, right? Like, and maybe as he's one of those mobile quarterbacks that, he's time is not on his side anymore. Like
but Aaron Rodgers had
10 years or 10 years.
Aaron Rodgers had stability for up until this year of his career, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also think we kind of got spoiled in the last like 15 to 20 years. I really think we've been in like this golden age of quarterbacks where like it was you start the season and you knew Tom Brady was going to be a great quarterback. You knew Peyton was going to be there. You knew Roethlisberger was going to be there. You knew Breeze. The
Rivers, all
Rodgers was going to be there. We almost got spoiled that there was so many like what you might call like generational quarterbacks that I just think we were very spoiled with the quarterback era and saying, well, Aaron Rodgers did it. Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers is like, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know that Russ is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's got the probably credentials to make a case for himself, but Aaron Rodgers is like a shoo-in Hall of Famer first ballot. I know Chris doesn't like him. I know this is like a popularity thing, but the stats speak for themselves.
Yeah, it's nothing about skill. I just hate the guy.
Most
punchable face in the NFL. But did you guys see Russell Wilson is the first player ever to record 40,000 passing yards and 5,000 rushing yards?
No way.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably remember most of those yards, the rushing ones anyway. I mean, we don't have to like him. He was a pretty damn fun quarterback to watch, though. I mean, every team was watching what he was doing because he kind of made a lot of the impossible happen, which is obviously why that team did so well on the offensive side. I mean, Legion of Boom did their own thing on defense. But, I mean, now we're living in the Kenny Pickett era. We got Gardner Minshew. I mean, this is Sam Howell. This is where dreams are made of. Maybe this is the next wave, good or bad. This is the next.
Think of like the top rated quarterbacks that have come out in the last little bit, like Justin Herbert. We're waiting for him to kind of take that elite status. Burrow is probably the closest one. You've got, Trevor Lawrence,
Patrick Mahomes.
Still waiting for him. Mahomes is like the rare exception where he's actually like living up to it. But I mean, think about the Jameis Winstons. Think about the Jared Goff and Carson Wentz and all of those ones that got taken. Baker Mayfield. Like so many of these guys have failed as, you know, top 15 picks, and we're like, oh my gosh, this guy's a bust. And by all, yes, absolutely a bust. If you're a first overall pick, you have to hit. But again, we're so spoiled with like, if you pick a quarterback first overall, you're going to get a generational talent for the next 15 years.
And now it's not guaranteed anymore.
Right? Like you have to try and hit that guy, but it just doesn't work as smoothly as people think.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Okay. We're about to get into our favorite my favorite segment of the show. I haven't gotten a new graphic yet, unfortunately. So I'm working on it. Maybe by week 3, I'll have something going. But let's get into Thanos Stars. And that's Tom Brady.
Real question. Are we going to have to switch Brady out now that he's retired? Like, are we going to have to pick a new Thanos icon?
We might. I mean, Chris, you were saying Jody Fortson has to be on there. I just got to put some stuff together. So,
you
know,
Chris is the smartest out of all of us. So probably should.
He is the smartest out of all of us. That's for sure. I'm just going to look at my videos here because here we go. We're going to do me first, only because I need to load some videos after this. So I'm not trying to be selfish. I'm just trying to get myself out of the way here. You know, it's kind of the same thing. So this was an easy one for me. Actually, there's some good choices this past week. So we actually left a few on the cutting room floor, whatever. I'm not in Hollywood. So you could have easily, I mean, it feels like a tight end kind of heavy week. Or actually, is it? There's one for sure. Maybe just 2. We got 2 tight ends, I think, this week. I think so. We're going to go with mine first.
Talking about Chris or not Chris?
We're gonna talk about my guy. Chris he's a bit of a tight end occasionally, but that's what I like about him. The Indianapolis Colts had some things that happened in the first half of the game. Anthony Richardson rushes for 2 TDs.
I can't wait to hear the clip on that one.
Oh, I'm so not good at English, you guys. Maybe I need some better glasses so I don't stutter. Then Gardner Minshew came in, and that alone was something to behold. So he decided to throw a touchdown pass to my new best friend, Kylan Granson. 2% owned, 1% started. The fact that those numbers even exist and they're not zeros is mind-blowing. Before this game this week, his biggest game of his career, he had 62 yards in a game about a year ago. That's it. We may or may not see him ever again. It's entirely PPHV. Welcome back to the show. I'm going to show you this clip, and then I got a little bit more for you. So let's roll it.
15 seconds and counting. Minshew, the quick snap, throws. The catch made. Did he reach across in time? Kylan Granson.
Speak and spell. Granson with an almost not touchdown from Gardner Minshew. Like, honorable mention to both of those guys, because there's no way anybody had either of those started, because you just didn't. It was
a hell of a play too. That's a great back shoulder throw from Minshew, like right on the money. Guy's got to turn. He's got to make that. Hats off to that play.
Chris?
Of course, nobody started Minshew. He didn't even start the game.
I know. Well, I'm just saying, like, that's the honorable mention that both of those guys end up. Like, if you like, how come both of those guys get touchdowns? Well, that's how it goes. And because it was such a big touchdown, this was his first ever touchdown. It took him 3 years to get it. He goes on. He posts this after 3 years of trying. Man, that's a clip of all clips, I think. When you get to have basically your birth photos, but a touchdown, that guy went all in. I love it. It's good. That's good.
Yes, that's how he had a child, Ryan.
Yeah, well, as a football, he had a football child.
Where do you think it came out of?
That's a good point. Steve, you're up, buddy. He went all in. Jeez.
My guy is somebody that I have never heard of before, so I can guarantee you that you've also never heard of him. Just to make sure, I did look it up. He is the 4,060th overall player on Sleeper League. Started in 0, rostered in 0. 22-year-old rookie from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I don't know if he's actually from there, but he plays there.
He plays there, so it's probably true.
Probably. Dontavian Wicks with the touch and my Dano of the week.
I like what you did there.
Thanks.
The Atlanta 32 off the play fake. Love fires over the middle, and it's caught for a first down and a touchdown by Dontavian Wicks. 32 yards, the rookie out of Virginia with his first.
It's like a Key and Peele name. When you go through the roster, like, I don't even think that's a real name, to be honest here. I mean, broke a tackle, goes in for a TD. That was all right.
I mean, our buddy Kyle's getting mad at me. I mean, I don't know his Packer boys, but they got a few injuries there. They're letting some of the young kids step up with Jordan Love, and Dontavian Wicks is on people's radar. Not really. He could be our new Jody Fortson for all I know.
I hope he's not.
No one will ever be Jody Fortson.
No, I mean, once somebody steals your heart once, you can't let anybody else in. There's only room for Jody. There's only one Jody on this show. It ain't nobody else
on this show. I know he will.
We're gonna make it happen, whether it's on Cameo or something. He's an expensive Cameo. He's like $90. I'm like, bro, you're not even like the backup tight end.
It's hilarious. I was about to say, even if we have to pay for it, then sure enough, there's Ryan. Even if we have to do Cameo.
Mm-hmm. I've been looking into this sort of thing, so we'll see.
It's our Cameo script, and he's like, oh, it's bad enough I'm out for the season. Like, I don't want your money. I don't want your guys' money.
Yeah.
You guys are dumb.
Yeah. How about I send you a jersey? Then I don't have to talk to you ever.
You should throw that on our Twitter feed. If we were to cameo Jody Fortson, what would we get him to say in our cameo? Maybe our viewers can hit us up with some crazy ideas.
Can we Can we go fund me the Cameo?
We could probably do that. He probably gets to hang out with Taylor Swift while Kelsey's playing, so they probably are up in the press box hanging out.
Love triangle.
Yeah. Awkward.
No friendship bracelets being given out there.
No kidding. We're gonna go to Ted's pick next because he's not here, and he's got a pretty good one. So obviously, we had our man Chubb go down, and then
I hate when my Chubb goes down.
Oh, tell me about it. Problem. So in those half PPR,
I think it's because man Chubb. So don't forget that.
Especially now that you're 40, Ryan, you probably struggle with that every day.
It is real. It is real. You gotta make some things happen. So Ford goes up and he ends up having a pretty decent game. But out of nowhere, we get the vulture, and his name is Pierre Strong. So Chubb goes down, Ford comes in. Pierre Strong vultures the backup. That is about as Thano as it gets on this show. When you couldn't start it ahead of any, like, it would make no sense to have, like, this is found money. If you happen to have started them, I mean, you're Nostradamus pretty much. But let's roll this clip.
And Pierre Strong knocks it in. Well, we saw this earlier tonight. I mean, Nick Harris, that's a great job by him. That was
a pretty boring touchdown.
He ran into his O-lineman. There was a clear crease around him. Like, nope, I gotta hit this
because he's the backup. He doesn't know what to do. It's like, I'm not even getting second team reps. He's just like, I was watching from a TV. Oh, that's where they line up. Okay. He probably saw it on Mirror too. He's like, oh, he was supposed to line up over here. No, man, you're watching it backwards. You're actually supposed to line up over here. So
okay, hold on. Speaking of lining up in the wrong spot, did you guys see in the Monday Night Football game last night, Miles Sanders had to push Bryce Young, so he was lined up behind the center. Bryce Young lined up in shotgun behind a guard, and Miles Sanders had to walk over and push him so he was lined up properly.
That guy with the football between his legs, that's where you go, bud.
Yeah, just, hey, it's just your job.
And you know who that is? That's our good friend of the show, Bradley Bozeman. Not hard to find him. I know those gloves.
That's true. I too have an uncle. So I tweeted out to them. I said that he should be growing a duster. And Nikki said, "What's that?" I said, "A mustache." She goes, "Probably not." So sounds like we made an effort, and we will not be seeing a Bozeman mustache this season. Sorry, bud. We did our best. Chris, who is your Thano this week?
Yeah, so I'm going with back-to-back weeks here. A guy who is 0% rostered, 0% started, because, I mean, can't be started if you're not rostered.
No.
Not only did this guy score a touchdown, he led his team in yards on Sunday. 5 catches, 63 yards, a 17-yard touchdown from Steve's team, Mr. Nelson Aguilar. That helps no one.
Jackson looking end zone. He's got a man. Touchdown! Aguilar! His first touchdown as a Raven.
It's good dance.
I think we got to start paying money for these clips. Yeah. You know, he went full Nelson and you get a touchdown. You like that?
It was a nice feed too. Man. Love watching the Bengals.
It was pretty. It was pretty. Let's get into actually before we get into some craziness. This was also a clip that we need to show because we're in the video clip of the portion of the show. This was during the Seahawks game. Geno Smith, not a big fan of a holding call, and might be
intentional grounding. Ryan.
Grounding. So I didn't see the game.
Did you even watch the game?
No, I didn't. I was on the East Coast. Shut up. I tried watching it. I just saw the clip. So too late to apologize, I guess. So let's roll that clip and find out what might be the quote of the season.
Grounding, offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here. Excuse me. It's a 10-yard penalty and a loss of down. Second down.
That is the best line I've ever heard, Adam Official. We'll get to the penalty in a minute. He just told Geno Smith, I'm talking to America. Pete Carroll is livid.
Well, he wasn't pressured. It shouldn't be grounding, right?
That's awesome.
Now,
that's awesome.
You don't say that when Bobby Wagner is close because Bobby was choked. He's like, you know what? I'll talk to America. Thank you. I'm lip syncing. I'm pretty sure I got that one right. But that is such a great line. Sorry, Gino. You can be mad about the call. I didn't watch the game. It can be the wrong call. Great. You walk in front of where you know the camera is and you're screaming at him and just what a dad move. Pardon me, I'm talking to America here. You just lose all credibility. You are forever going to be memed with that.
He got stiff-armed by an official. You gotta love it. It was great, regardless of and it sounded like there were some pretty awful calls in that game. Chris, can you verify?
It was not holding. Suck it, Lions fans.
I'm very happy that fellow non-sexer Tyler Lockett helped me out in fantasy this week with a 2 TD performance. So I was scoring in that game.
So good. So good.
So good.
Unless you draft him in the first round accidentally. Your commissioner doesn't know how to set a damn draft up. But it's fine. Tyler Lockett is better than the guy you wanted. Oh, yeah, that worked out real well for me. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks.
Hey, whatever. I got him. Suck it. I don't care.
Yeah, you still lost.
I know. Yeah. Didn't work out so well. I'm still trying to get over this 5-yard loss here. I had the group chat is going nuts. They're like, Ryan is going on an absolute tear with his team, but he's still likely going to lose. When you know that, that's one of the worst things when you're watching your team just absolutely decimate your opponent and you're thinking, oh man, I'm having a week. And then you look and you're thinking, if one of his guys gets an okay game, I still lose somehow. As good as this week is, he needs one guy to have basically a normal game. And I'm done. And that's what happened.
You won all of the best awards by losing. Most of Sleeper gives these weekly recaps that are always hilarious because they mean nothing. Points in whose line is it anyways? Mm-hmm. Ryan wins most efficient manager. highest points in a loss, overachiever. Like he's doing all the right things and still losing. And that is why I'm pretty sure every person who plays fantasy football has a love-hate relationship, because you hate it to the core, but you're like, I love it. I love laughing at someone else who loses by 0.5 points, and I can't sleep for 5 days when it happens to me.
Well, the Aaron Rodgers one last week would have killed that one guy that lost by like 0.05. No, like by 0.05, that one that guy tweeted out.
I lost by more than that.
Yeah, so he literally just needed Rodgers to complete like one pass to somebody, and he was going to win. Let's get into sleepy ads with Chris.
Good sound effects there, Brian. Good sound.
I couldn't remember where we're going. So, Chris, being that you are the reason that clip exists, who is your sleepy ad this week?
My sleepy ad of the week is the tight end 1 overall. Which, how is the tight end 1 available in 52% of leagues? I don't know. But that guy is Hunter Henry.
Pardon me?
Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry.
He's British.
Which I was surprised to learn that he's the tight end 1 as well.
Statistically.
Well, I mean, he finished, I think, week 1 as the tight end 1 and week 2 as the tight end 2. So overall, yeah, he's statistically the tight end 1, which, I mean, we're talking about fantasy football. So all we're talking about is fancy stats.
Checks out. Okay.
Checks out. We all know tight end is a fantasy wasteland anyways, so go pick up the guy that, I mean, he's shown in the past he's a viable option at the position. So far this season, he's proving that he's still that guy. I mean, I picked him up last week for free. Don't even have to waste him. Don't even have to blow my load to go get him. So he's on my roster already. I know nobody cares about my team, so I'll stop talking about it. But blow that fab, but get a towel. You're a towel.
I'm going to correct you for a second, because that's what I do. I would disagree that tight end is not a fantasy wasteland. Our show has almost been built on the pillars of tight ends.
Not helping anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, when you think about it, like, that's where all those points are going. So it's not even a wasteland. It's just we're not figuring it out. We're not realizing that maybe as commissioners, we need to have more tight end spots available in our flex.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I was actually looking at it because the Seahawks tight ends, all 3 of them, combined for, I think it was 9 catches and 132 yards or something like that this week. And I'm looking at my roster being like, if I had all 3 of those guys on my team and started all 3 of them, who would they have outscored combined? And it was like, yeah, it probably would have actually helped me. Like over, like, take out like JSN, take out Jamal Williams, and I think like one other guy, Kyle Pitts, take out Kyle Pitts. And the 3 Seahawks tight ends would have outscored those 3.
That's insane. It's funny though. Like, you think we're in our 3rd season, and how many times have we picked a tight end as our Thano or as an ad? Like, it just always seems to come up.
It's because it's like there's like 3 tight ends, and all 3 of them could see the field. So all of a sudden, you have your 3rd string tight end scoring a touchdown. Or, like I said, tight end is a fantasy wasteland. Trying to find, unless you have a Andrews, Kelsey, Kittle. Like, let's say you have one of those 3 guys. Like, you're just hoping
you're rolling the dice
for the. Yeah, you're rolling the dice, right? Trying to find the guy at the bottom of the dumpster fire that's not on fire yet.
I find every year people try to find that next one, right? They want to find the next one that will go into the big 3. It's looking like
Kyle Pitts.
TJ Hawkinson might be that guy, but
pretty close.
What a waste!
But it's tough with Hawkinson because, like, Hawkinson's got competition, right? He's got competition with Jefferson and Addison for targets, right?
Yeah,
Andrews is the guy in Baltimore. Kelsey is the guy in Kansas City. Kittle is starting to lose his role of being the guy. I mean, he was for the longest time, but I mean, Ayuk and Debo are proving more than capable, right? So Kittle's become, more
He's
of a...
lost his catch share, that's for sure.
For sure, right? So I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah. It's also really hard to like pinpoint those guys. Like you think when they, are the vultures of the TDs, you got a guy like Jody Fortson who's like 6'7", 6'6". Like Jimmy Graham, I feel like is responsible for this tight end wasteland, because we all knew when it got down inside the 10-yard line, you'd run like a fade to the outside. He would be against like even like a 6'1", 6'2" corner. And here's a guy that was a basketball player and like just throw it up to him. You don't even have to be good. Like you're catching it 2 feet above the guy who's trying to defend you. Like
he was winning out on height.
Yeah, it's so hard to defend those things. And you see a lot of these tight ends that are vulturing it are the guys who are like massive bodies who can jump out of this world and just chuck it up to them. Like, who cares? It's 6 points is 6 points.
Exactly. Speaking of 6 points, we got a big score to my screen right. Steve, who's your ad this week?
Oh, this one hurt writing in there. This one really hurt writing in there because I rostered this guy all of last year being like, he's gonna do it. He's mega talented. I remember hoping the Ravens would bite on him in the draft. This guy's only owned in 50% of sleeper leagues. He was started in just 21 of them as well. So, I mean, he could fall under our start category as well. And he's the number 7 wide receiver in all of football. He's young, big-bodied. He's the true perimeter wide receiver. And his rookie quarterback is throwing the ball all over the yard. 11 targets and 9 targets in back-to-back weeks. Nico Collins is my ad. I cannot believe he's still there in a lot of leagues. It could have something like, maybe you've got a lot of fantasy managers like myself who, have been burned by him in the past, and you're kind of not wanting to grab him. But like a guy we used to play in our league, Mike, his big thing with wide receivers was look at targets. The more times the ball gets thrown to that guy, the better chance he has of putting up points. Like that's just common sense. So when you're getting 20 targets in 2 weeks, he's on pace to get 170 targets. Even if you're capitalizing on like 60% of them, like you're getting in the 100 catch territory, you're going to be somewhere in that 1,300 yards. He's a big guy, so they're going to look at him in the red zone. Nico Collins could be a league winner, like help you win your entire league if he continues with this. Obviously I watched the Texans week 1. They were playing the Ravens. I watched a little bit of them this week, and Stroud looks like he wants to throw the ball. He's good at making decisions. He's getting the ball out fast. He's looking another one of our guys that showed up a little bit last year was Robert Woods, old Bobby Trees. He's like rejuvenating his career. He's throwing it to Nico Collins. For me, it was actually hard of who to pick, Nico Collins or Bobby Trees, because they are getting targets, they're getting receptions, and Houston wants to throw the ball. So Nico Collins is my sleepy ad of the week.
Speaking of targets, that leads into my guy, a tight end, Zach Ertz. He was 6 for 8 for 56 yards on Sunday. They were using him. He's not going away yet, and based on how the Cardinals are playing this season, they're going to need somebody that they can be confident in. Zach Ertz isn't done in the NFL. I think he's still probably looking to make his presence on that team after being traded. I don't know. I still think he's a viable option in there, and maybe he kind of is like almost, we talk about the leagues that we play in, but he's like a sleeper kind of tight end where, he's maybe going to quietly put up a really good season and nobody's going to be paying attention to it. So I would add him because it just seems like tight ends are going to be a little bit more valued this season. Maybe not, but it just so far, we're 2 weeks in, but it seems like that seems to be a position where battles are needing to be won. So, the guy can catch balls, and if you're getting 8 targets in a game as a tight end, that's a lot. That's a lot for any receiver. So,
did you just say a tight end is catching a lot of balls?
I may have said that. I may have. It's dog in a bathtub, if anybody knows that reference.
Today.
Well played, Chris. Like, you're just on. He's just sitting there, and he's just analyzing everything.
I'm just listening. I'm just waiting for my opportunity. Like, hey, he said balls and tight end.
That's my cue. Go.
Go quick.
That's my cue. Now what? Ted had someone. I'm just seeing if I remembered. He said to add Kareem Hunt. He said to add Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, of course.
That's a pretty good. That's a safe bet, Ted. It's. Have you guys heard about Kareem Hunt?
I mean, it's a pretty obvious.
I disagree though, because
going to get added.
The Browns had Kareem Hunt all of last year, and still decided to go with Jerome Ford as their backup running back this year. So, like, really, are they?
I think it was.
What's that?
No. I think Kareem Hunt was due like $6-8 million or something like that. I think he was more of a cap casualty than he was like we don't value you in this system. But I get what you mean. I think that's the big talk right now is like, if he was so valuable, why isn't he on the roster? Like, is he going to overtake those snaps from Ford?
Maybe they're happy and they can do it a lot cheaper with Ford and Strongford. Like, maybe they can go a week and maybe see what they got now that they're going to have a full week without Chubb, right? Like, you're going to have to obviously game plan for those two guys. It's not like you can add someone, assume he's going to play on Sunday. It's pretty rare a guy. I mean, he does know their system, so he could probably get plugged in and do some spot duty in there. But for the two guys they have, realistically, you might be able to get away with 1 week of using those two running backs anyway.
Speaking of Chubb and in our league, did Ted ever get out from underneath Chubb at the right time? Hey.
Oh, he texted me yesterday. He goes, "I just traded him." He goes, "It sucks as a Browns fan, but man, am I happy that happens." I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, that was one of those trades where, like, the timing just couldn't have been better. So good for him. Good for him. He's a sneaky weasel.
Yeah, and
come back in the show.
Nobody picked up on the fact that I just said Ted got out from under that Chubb at the right time.
It's a little late in the day. I'm still
damn it.
Sleep here.
Steve is frozen, so he missed it.
Okay, there's a really good conversation that I was having with a few people today about this whole topic. Like, we know Jerome Ford is going to be the big ad of the week. I think that's probably why most of us didn't pick him, because it's way too obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Get your towel, folks, for Jerome Ford.
Yeah. How much? Like, I clearly wasted. Did I may have used all of mine.
You did. 100%.
I did use all of mine. So my philosophy has been blow it early and often, because
that's how babies are made.
Got two of them to show for it. I always, like, every single year, the longer the waiver wire goes, the less quality there is. Now, there's going to be those ones where you have those big injuries, and somebody's the new Jerome Ford that is trying to be picked up. Most people by week 2 right now have close to 100% of their fab bucks. What percentage are you spending on Jerome Ford? Now, you don't have to tell me if you're actually going for him. I don't care, because I don't have.
He's taken in our league anyways. So.
Oh yeah, he's taken in our league. So if you had the option, how much of your percentage are you spending on him?
I think he's a guy that, I mean, you have to go, I would say, at least 90%, because as of right now, he appears to be the starting running back in that offense, unless they go out and trade for someone, sign a Kareem Hunt, whatever. I think you have to go at least 90%.
And like that O-line, if it's not the best O-line to run behind, it's at least a top 3 O-line to run behind, right? Like, Ford is showing that he can. So you would go 90.
At least.
As a minimum. Would you just spend it all? Would you spend it all?
I would, yeah. I wish I did last week.
You're right. I think it is proving that. And I mean, I think back to some other seasons too, when we can max out. Remember how we used to have like the max out at 10, like basically whoever threw at the 10 first. So at least there was opportunity for everybody.
That never got pleased. Let's be real.
Pardon me?
That never got policed. Let's be real.
I think it did. I mean, usually whoever threw
there's
it
no
up.
way of policing that, though. Anyways.
So my point is, it gave opportunity to guys. That's all. So, but yeah, it's proving that early on, probably by week 4, unless there continues to be injuries and someone just steps up out of nowhere and gets their opportunity, whatever you're going to need that's going to be decent is going to be gone. So if somebody emerges in the next week or 2, if you still have money and that guy's worth it, blow the fab.
I've spent too many leagues where by week 3 or 4, if I haven't spent any, I usually end the season with over 75% of it, because the guy you're picking up in week 5, 6, 7 is just like a week filler kind of thing, and you're maybe throwing like $1, $2 at him. Like,
and
I
that's
know
not
it was
going to matter
last week, but like,
everyone's
like, holy crap, you spent all of your fab bucks week 1 for Kyren Williams.
But also, let's
like, if I use my fab bucks like a lottery ball. I want one lottery ticket of a guy who can be a league winner for me, and Jerome Ford could be that guy, right? Sorry, Chris, what were you gonna say?
Sorry, I was cutting you off there. Let's also, like, full disclosure and like full transparency. You also were left in a position where you had just lost J.K. Dobbins for the season, so like you needed to fill that roster spot at the same time with someone that is going to now step in and be another bell cow running back, right? So it's like
it's a desperation move, but out of priority. Like,
I don't think desperation is the right word. Steve blew his load out of necessity.
I really want that to be clipped so my wife can see that.
Listen,
don't have to watch the whole episode, babe, but I really need you to tune in to like minute 47 to 48. Like, you get a special shout over that.
Yeah, just say, listen, this is a necessity moment right here.
I always look at it this way. Even if I didn't need Kyren Williams, which I definitely do because I lost J.K. Dobbins for the year, a little desperation, little necessity, whatever you want to call it. At the start of the year, if I could tell you that you would start the year with 0 fab bucks, but you would get either like a 2nd round pick or a 3rd round pick or like a running back or wide receiver that could help you make a run, wouldn't you do that every single time?
Yeah.
As opposed to like, oh, well, like, here's your $60 or $100, whatever you use for it. I want you to be like really frugal with it. And you're like, well, I really like, rationed my money. And over the course of a year, I made like 27 ad drops for a total of what? Like,
3 points.
Let's say I didn't need Kyren Williams and I was stacked at running back. Maybe I just trade him for a 2nd round pick or a 1st round pick. Or
you're picking him up for money. Exactly.
It's free. It's free. Yeah. It's just priority on the waiver wire. Now, I'm screwed in terms of if that other big person goes down, I don't get him, which you have to be okay with, because how many of those guys statistically go down in a year? If I can get my chance at one of those guys, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I always look back at after and I'm like, man, why didn't I just throw the whole bank at this guy? Because now somebody else has like a 23-year-old running back keeper.
Yeah. And I mean, in some guys' case, a rookie one too, right?
Yeah.
In the leagues that have that, like, now you're getting a priority spot of somebody, right? So, and at the end of the day, like you said, Steve, you can look at it as a lottery ticket for your draft. I mean, you're not, I mean, there's going to be some guys you pick up and you're thinking, well, at least I make a run with this guy this year. I know I'm not going to keep him, but now I can move him. Somebody's going to need him, and it doesn't have to be me. And you get a 3rd or a 4th round draft pick. Well, who says no to a draft pick? So anyway, let's get to the starts that are equally sneaky with Taylor Lewan. He's pointing to the sneaky starts. You guys are talking about dead horses. This is getting weird. Chris, who's your dead horse start for or your sneaky start for the week? Jeez. If you only could see the chat. I guess that's why it's got a lock in front of it and it says private.
Yeah.
Which is fitting for what Chris just said. So.
All right, sneaky start now. Now here's a guy that's top 5 at his position. Put up top 3 numbers in week 2, going 18 for 32 for 308 yards, 3 total touchdowns, adding 56 yards on the ground, and is rostered in less than 50% of leagues. Only started in 14% last week. So meaning you could probably go out, add this guy for free. He just got his wide receiver 1 back, has a favorable matchup versus the Dolphins in week 3. So go get yourself Mr. Unlimited. Mr. Unlimited. And start him with confidence. Go get Russell Wilson. Start him.
Let's ride
Bronco
with Chris.
Country. Let's ride.
Go Seahawks. What? Never mind. Sorry. That was on me.
Mr. Unlimited.
I don't know. What's that from?
You've never seen the Mr. Unlimited clip?
Probably not.
Oh.
Get on it. Make me known.
Sending it to you right now.
So, you guys, this isn't even really a sneaky start, but I'm going to say it's a sneaky start. His name's Latavius. Ain't nobody can't bang with us. Rascals checkmate Cardinal.
This is one you guys love to know. Real exciting. Yeah, I'm real excited. But anyways,
oh, sorry, were you doing something?
I like it. Keep going.
Would be, and I think I have an alter ego. His name's Mr. Unlimited. Yeah, you gotta be unlimited. You gotta have a thought process of being unlimited. So when people ask you, what you're thinking about or what you want to do in life or where you want to go, you gotta be unlimited. Tell them I'm unlimited. You know what I mean? So when they ask you certain questions like,
that's why they traded him.
Mr. Unlimited.
Oh, I'm
unlimited. Who's your go-to person for advice, Russell? They think Pete Carroll, they think this person, think that person. Love you, Pete, but it's Mr. Unlimited. Tom.
He's humble at least. What a loser.
I'm tweeting it at you so you can see the video too.
What a loser. So back to things that matter. Latavius Murray. This isn't sneaky. He's just good. He shouldn't be available, but start him if he is. Bills use him and he delivered. Guess that means James Cook isn't their guy. He isn't the 100% guy. Go bring back Latavius. He delivers every single season. He's not going to be a bell cow. He's not going to be the guy that's going to be eating up any awards. But you know what? He shows up to work, puts on those boots, and he gets you some points for your fantasy team. Latavius Murray, my sneaky start of the week. Steve decided to leave and come back all of a sudden. I'm glad you have a great internet connection.
Sorry.
Usually that's mine to do. So you know what? You've been demoted to
Kim Kardashian. He came back.
I gotcha.
I thought there was a backdoor joke.
We gotcha. That's good, Chris. Chris is on it. I'm happy for him. Steve, who's your? Is this seriously your sneaky start?
This is my start.
He picked Najee Harris, folks.
Yeah. This is Najee Harris levels for sure.
Jeez. Like, as a teacher, you think you had more time to prep. Like, what do you tell your students to prep, right? Steve's just like,
on my prep at work today instead of marking. Give me a break.
This is like the laziest pick ever. Like, I think Ted even had a better option. Mac Hollins was his start.
Ted's is blank. I'm not going to say nice things about you, Ryan.
You're never going to live like this. Is Ryan level.
This is bad. Steve. Like it is. This is what I would do when people are like, oh, Ryan doesn't know about anything about fantasy football. But like, yeah, I know the good players. That's not what this show is about. This is about the sucky players.
Wouldn't you have this guy on your roster?
I'm doing pretty well. My record does not reflect that. But
anyways, in full disclosure, I think I put in the chat, you guys are going to roast me over this, but I said nice things about you. My start is Kyron Williams because of the simple fact that he's only started in 16% of sleeper leagues. I can't believe he's only owned in 64% of leagues. Like, he almost falls in the ad category because there's so many left there. Number 3 running back, number 13th overall player in the entire league. He was on the field for 95% of the snaps last week. So if you got him, or if you're going to get him now, Chris told you, I think it was our preview. I'm pretty sure it was the preview episode. Chris said, like, Akers might fall out of favor with Sean McVay. It happened.
Yeah,
so glad I'm part of this show because I definitely added him. But now is the time to start Kyron Williams with absolute confidence. Like, he is an RB1. He has to stay in your lineup all the time until he proves that he can't. So he's also going against the Bengals this week. They've allowed 384 yards on the ground in 2 games. If you haven't added him, add him. Once you've added him, start him with damn confidence. This is a Najee Harris level advice of starting him. I 100% agree, but people aren't starting him. So whatever platform we have, we need to get that message out there that he needs to be started as an RB1 with confidence.
I mean, that was a good public service announcement, Steve, so I'll give you that, even though that was probably, again, one of the easiest starts you're ever going to see, let alone as we're going to week 3. You can be better, but I'm going to allow it. Viewer of the show, Stephen L. Let's post up that queue. Josh Allen. So quarterback, Josh Allen, Bijan, Henry, Javonte, Evans, McLaurin, Slant Boy.
Who's Slant Boy?
Hollywood, Judy. I kind of want to know now. This is awesome.
Yeah, who's Slant Boy?
Hollywood, Judy, Thielen, Cooks, Andrews. Wow, that's, I mean, not a bad team. Do I trade Scary Terry and Thielen for Kamara? Full PPR 12-man redraft. This is a Steve question, I think.
I'll touch on it. I think so. You have depending on who Slant Boy is.
Yeah. Steven, who's a Slant Boy?
You have a ton of depth at receiver because even if you trade McLaurin, you still have Mike Evans, Slant Boy. You have Hollywood.
Tell us who Slant Boy is.
Judy and Brandon Cooks. It gives you better depth at running back. And I mean, with it being PPR, Kamara, we know, is a PPR beast. And Jamal Williams just went down with a hamstring injury. That sounds like it's going to keep him out for a little bit here. So I would probably pull the trigger on that one.
Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not really sold on Thielen succeeding in whatever Carolina has going on there. I'm a big believer in Scary Terry. I think he's possibly the most underrated player in the entire NFL. He always gets overlooked. But like Chris said, you have a lot of depth at wide receiver. Like, you're getting Judy back. I was super high on Judy this year. I almost kept him in our league before deciding against that.
I found out who Slant Boy is.
I'm just like, I can't get NFL. Is it Michael Thomas?
It's Michael Thomas, yeah.
Oh, it's Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I would say is I don't know who your league, like what positions your league starts, but like if you've got Bijan, Henry, Javonte, I'm probably starting them. It gives you really good balanced depth. And like I said, I think Thielen is kind of like meh. Yeah, I think there's guys on the waiver wire that you can pick up as a wide receiver to offset the loss of one of those wide receivers as like depth, and then you get an RB1 in Kamara.
Yeah, I kind of view it as a McLaurin for Kamara because, like you said, Thielen is just a depth guy. Like he feels like kind of like a throwaway piece, anyways. So like McLaurin for Kamara 1-for-1, I would do that trade.
Yeah,
there you go. And now we know who Slant Boy is. I mean, really, that's what we came for today. We learned something new. You taught us, Stephen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You made us work for this show. I like it. Who else do we got here? Ted said to start Mac Hollins. He's not here. We don't have to wait a lot of time on Ted's stuff. This is what we do. I mean, I'd rather talk to the people.
Mac Hollins even play for right now. That's how irrelevant it is. Like, I feel like we needed to hear what Ted's rationale for starting Mac Hollins.
He told me quickly on the phone, I think. Atlanta.
He likes his hair.
I was going to say it's got to be the hair. 3%, 1%. Yeah, you're not starting him. That's
I don't know.
That's a stupid idea. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm not buying him.
No. Just go to Hawaii already, Ted.
I just think Desmond Ridder, like, he hasn't shown that he can pass the ball, and he's going to go to Drake London. He's going to go to Kyle Pitts. He's going to hand it off to Bijan.
I wish he would go to Kyle Pitts.
The sneakiest start of all time. I don't see why it would be a start, but maybe Island Boy has
better start than Mac. You know what? Better start than Mac Hollins would be Roddy White. That's how likely Mac Hollins isn't going to be started in your league. So, just saying. Shout out Roddy White.
Atlanta team to watch.
Oh, it was the best. It was so much fun. They had everything going on that team. But anyway, this has been a coverage of our week 2 recap. Did you guys want to do a recap from last week? Or are we good? I had 6 fantasy points with Justice Hill. That's all that matters. So I think that classifies as a dub.
I did pretty all right for Jared Goff. He was QB6 last week.
That's pretty good.
Wait,
how about you, Slamboy?
Recap your starter.
Your start, yeah.
Oh, my starter, I mid-time. That was the one I said start Kenneth Gainwell. And
did not work out well.
Yeah, you did.
He was on the injury report. Didn't know how severe it was. Did the show. I didn't do the show, but I'm sure you guys talked about it. And then I get a message Thursday, like I'm running all over the place, and I get a message from Chris, and it was basically like, dude, your start is out for the week. Like,
you guys. Hey, this is Steve. You guys start Kenneth Gainwell. Make sure you check your injury reports before you do start him, though, guys.
Yeah, I was definitely throwing shade in the group chat.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's what the group chat is for.
It's the best. That's the best. This is that helps no one FantasyCast on Crier Media. It looks like we were helped today by our viewer / listener, Stephen L. Thanks, Stephen, for giving us a good question. Easily better than some of the stuff Steve or Ted brought us today. So we do appreciate that. And now Steve's face is frozen, even though it's not. It's good. I'm just kidding. Good to have you back this week. Guys, if you got any questions, check us out on our Twitter account. We're trying to make that happen. We're trying to make fetch happen on the Thano account. Make sure you follow Steve, Chris, myself, and Ted on Twitter. That's where we kind of threw our shenanigans out there. Obviously, follow our account, like I said, our Facebook, or well, not Facebook, our YouTube, Twitter, all that. So
don't forget MySpace.
Yeah.
Nexopia.
Yeah, whatever the other one is. Follow my LimeWire account. So
don't follow LimeWire. It'll give you AIDS.
Lincoln Park num.exe. So yeah, go check it out on Crier Media. I'm gonna have some clips posted this week. We had some good ones. That's about it. Any final words? Chris, I almost don't want to ask because I feel like you're just gonna have something just sitting there waiting to go.
All I'm gonna say is get on YouTube, go watch Boom the season from the Seahawks. Or I gotta pull it up to Season of Boom. Excuse me. The Seahawks are releasing a 10-part documentary series on YouTube from the Super Bowl season 10 years ago. I've seen trailers, I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't started watching it yet. It looks amazing. I can't wait to watch the whole thing. So Seahawks fans, get on YouTube. Even if you're not a Seahawks fan, I mean, everyone remembers the Legion of Boom. Everyone remembers that Seahawks defense back in 2013. So Season of Boom on YouTube. Go check it out. We
got one final question. I feel like we're going to have like 6 now. Super CNB challengers. Yo, should I trade away Miles Sanders and Olav? Is it Chris Olav or Olave? How do I?
Olave.
I never
Olave.
For Chase PPR.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think no. That is buying high on a guy that you should be buying low on. Jamar Chase has not shown enough to be giving up. I mean, Miles Sanders hasn't shown a lot, but I wouldn't be making that trade right now.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm making that trade. I think there's just a handful of guys that, okay, we're in week 2. Jamar Chase has not shown that he's being Jamar Chase. Does that mean he's not going to be forever? Absolutely not. When I look at wide receivers, I look at quarterback wide receiver combo. When both of those guys are on, Jamar Chase might be like, I hate him. Hate him at LSU. I hate him that he's a Bengal.
But he'll torch you.
But he will torch you. Burrow will make sure he gets the ball. I'm super high on Olave. Super high on Olave. I know Chris is as well. I know you kept him this year. I think the trade here, I don't know that Miles Sanders is enough, right? Miles Sanders is kind of like, we don't know what he is in Carolina yet. I like the idea of Olave for Chase straight up.
So here's the follow-up. He's got Sanders on his bench. He's got Cook, Gibbs, Diggs, CD, and I mean, so you're basically upgrading Olave for Chase. So I mean, and if Gibbs starts going, that might be okay.
Like, I like that three.
Seeing more of that now. I mean,
really like that
a buy for sure.
Receiver monster. You got Gibbs. I think Gibbs is going to figure it out pretty soon. I mean,
he better.
Ryan, if you think he's not going to, I'll buy him from you.
No, I will be patient. I will be Cam Akers patient on this.
Same with James Cook. Like, he's going to get enough.
For sure.
I think it's a tough trade. I just think there's certain guys that rarely become available. Like, I have Justin Jefferson in our league. I would need a lot more than that to trade away Justin Jefferson. I think Chase is as good or better as Justin Jefferson. He's just not showing it in the first 2 games. Part of that is probably because Burrow's a little hurt.
And I was going to say, it's not so much Chase. And I guess we need to know, is it redraft or is it keeper? Because it's not so much that Chase is necessarily playing poorly, but Joe Burrow's not 100% healthy. So that's affecting how Burrow plays, which of course affects the output of Jamar Chase.
My guess is it's a redraft.
That would be my guess too.
Yeah. I mean, for a run, that's a pretty good little combo there. Diggs, CD, and Chase. Yeah, redraft. So go for it, man. What do you have to lose? You're getting an upgrade. Like Steve said, as soon as things get going, I mean, we all know what Chase is capable of. So, we just saw that AJ Green retired, I think, this week, right? As a Bengal. I mean, we all knew what AJ Green and Julio were doing back in their heyday. Like, those guys were can't miss. And
yeah, I don't know. Now that I know it's redraft, I like it a little less, to be honest.
Oh, I like it more. Just go for it, man.
Because
I'm with Steve, because if Burrow's hurt and his calf injury nags the whole season, that affects Chase for the rest of this season. If it's keeper, that's one thing, right? But in a redraft, you only get Jamar Chase for the rest of this season, right?
I mean, you're betting on that things get better, just like and every other, like, it's fantasy. You're betting on all of your guys. You're betting on that move to pay off. I mean, I think you're fine. I mean, it's been said on both sides. I think you're fine if you stick with him, and if you go after him, you're hoping that he blows up. And if he does, I mean, you've got 3 absolute studs for the rest of the season.
If Joe Burrow was 100% healthy, I would say absolutely make that trade.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Sleep on it.
Make that trade, right? But it's Joe Burrow's health that has me questioning it. So
I also think that
your heart will tell you.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
The heart wants what the heart wants. I also think New Orleans, solidifying their quarterback position a little bit better, right? Derek Carr looks like he's bringing some stability to the position. Olave was doing all of that last year, lighting it up as a rookie with who?
Famous Jameis.
Yeah.
Famous Jameis, who, like, sure, he loves to chuck the ball, but Derek Carr, for all of his faults, is a massive upgrade over him. So, like,
dude would have won MVP if he didn't break his leg.
Who's that?
Derek Carr.
Oh, yeah. So, now knowing redraft, I like it just a little bit less, but I don't think there's a wrong answer there. I think if you've got Olave for that run, that three-headed monster of Diggs, who was it? Diggs, CD, and Olave is just as nasty as Chase, Diggs, and CD.
Okay, so let's dig this a little bit further. So now we got a conversation going here. So if you got those, what are you getting as an upgrade for Chase? Like, how many more points a week are you going to get that you're not getting already? Like, you're almost just hoping that things, kind of blow up towards the end of the season, because clearly you're going to probably have a pretty decent regular season. So he's almost hoping that you're going to get a few extra points when it comes to fantasy playoffs. One team plays in a dome, one team doesn't.
He's saying that Sanders, or he or she is saying Sanders is on my bench. So right now it looks like they're starting 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, or 2 wide receivers and 1 flex.
Yeah.
I don't think you start Miles Sanders over any of those guys in the conversation. So it's literally just, in my opinion, an Olave for Chase kind of trade. So maybe the play here is to get a lottery ticket back, right? Like, if you're giving up Sanders as well, ask for a lottery ticket of like a Puka Nacua or someone that they have on their roster who maybe is unproven, but it is in the right situation kind of thing.
Cam Akers,
great lottery ticket.
Right? Because like
offset Miles Sanders.
Well, because that's the thing, is like Miles Sanders as a throw-in is actually, like, on paper doesn't seem like much, but when you actually look at it, like, Miles Sanders is at the top of the depth chart in Carolina.
Yeah.
So, like, you're giving away an RB1 who, I mean, he hasn't, like, he's not putting up world beater numbers in the first 2 weeks, but, like, he seems like a really expensive throw-in.
Yeah.
Agreed.
There you go. Okay. Well, I don't see any more questions on there. So on behalf of Steve, Chris, a vacant Ted, he'd be in the bottom corner here, I'm Ryan. This is That Helps No One FantasyCast on Crier Media, the fantasy football show for people in the know. Best clips on the internet. Maybe we'll be sponsored one day. Who knows?